Isn't life just all about searching for the right thing? Searching for a good place to eat, searching for a place to visit, searching for clothes to wear, and what the heck, even searching for a life partner. Wouldn't it be just wonderful if there was an algorithm to search all of that? Hmm. Life would have been so much simpler, right? Fortunately, this is not in the case of computers. You can easily search for a place on a map, or you can easily search for your favorite song from billions of songs. But how does all of that work? There are a lot of searching techniques, but you need some place to start, right? A linear search is the best way for a starting point. Hello, friends. Welcome back to Study Algorithms, a place where I simplify programming for you with animations, visuals, and some really easy to understand examples. Today, I want to introduce you to the concept of searching. First, I will tell you the importance of search algorithms and why do you need them. Next, I will show you how a linear search algorithm works and what happens behind the scenes. Going forward, we will try to improve it using a sorted linear search and then do a dry run of the code. This way, this concept will stay in your mind forever. So, without further ado, let's get started. I want you to take a step back and think about why do you need searching? Let us say you're planning a vacation. What is the first thing that you do? First of all, you would decide, okay, this is the place where I want to go, right? Similarly, I assume you have been using a smartphone or a laptop to watch this video. How did you come across this? You searched something and then a list of videos popped up. Searching, therefore, gives you a starting point. There are millions of videos uploaded on YouTube, but you want something that is for you, right? This is what makes searching very important. Now, searching through all of YouTube is a very advanced technique and you will learn about it eventually. But in this introductory video, I just want to tell you about a linear search. This is the simplest algorithm where you search for an element while iterating over a list sequentially. But how does that work? Let us have a look. The best way to understand any new concept is via an example. So, to understand linear search, let me take up a list of numbers and we will try to find a number in this list of numbers. So, I am taking an array that has some numbers in it. Now, array is just a linear data structure in which all the elements are stored sequentially. So, I have this sample array and let us say I want to search for the number 7 in this. Now, what linear search says is that you start from the beginning and then you compare the number at that index with the number that you have to search. So, we would be comparing, is the first number equal to 7? No, right? That means we can move our pointer ahead. Once again, as we are at the second position, we again need to compare, is the number at second position equal to the number that we want to search? So, is 0 equal to 7? No, right? That means I can move my pointer once again ahead. Now we compare 8 and 7. They are not equal. Once again, I will move my pointer ahead. So, you see what we are doing over here? We are sequentially comparing each of the numbers in our list with the number that we have to search. So if you keep on going forward, 15 is not equal to 7, 1 is not equal to 7, 6 is not equal to 7, 2 is not equal to 7, and you land at 7 finally. Now, as soon as you check this position, you found the number 7. And hence, you can say that we were able to find this number in our array. So what we did is we searched linearly throughout the entire array. This was a case when we could find the number. What happens, let us say if I want to search for the number 25 in this array. You don't know in the beginning that the number exists or not. So what we are again going to do is we will start from the first position. The number at position 1 is not 25, right? So you move ahead. Now 0 is also not equal to 25, so you move ahead. Then you go at 8. This is also not equal to 25, so you move ahead. Similarly, what you will do is you will iterate over each of these positions. And you find that Even when you have reached the end of the array, you could not find 25. That means you have exhausted all of your possibilities and you weren't able to find the number. So we can come to the conclusion that 25 does not exist in the array. And we did a linear search throughout the array. This technique is also known as the brute force method because you are exhausting all of your possibilities and trying to find a number in the array. Right now, you only have say 13 elements in the array. But what if you have, let's say, a list of 1000 elements and you have to search for a number? Will you go over all of those numbers? So that is why linear search is a very basic technique that you can use to search for small lists. Let us say if you have a list of 100 numbers or let's say 50 numbers, then linear search is helpful. But anyways, can you improve this technique a little bit? Well, there is one way, and that is through sorting. Sorting means that you arrange the elements of the array in a sequential order. That sequence could be an ascending order or a descending order. So, what happens when I sort out this array? As you can see, I have sorted this array in an ascending order. So, the least element is on the very left and the maximum element is on the very right. How does that give me an advantage? Let us say I want to search for the number 6 this time. What happens when I try to perform a linear search on it? I start with the first position. I see the element at first position is not equal to 6, right? Then, going forward, I see the second position. Once again, 1 is not equal to 6. I see 2 is not equal to 6. Then 3 is not equal to 6. Then 4 is not equal to 6. Then 5 is not equal to 6. And then, as you go ahead, you see the number 7. You see that 7 is not equal to 6. But at the same time, you know that this array is sorted, right? That means after 7, all of the remaining numbers are greater than 7, right? So it does not make a point to actually look for 6 after 7 because you know that 6 cannot exist after 7. And hence, what you can do is you can stop your search right at this point. So, what did you just do? You saved some of your time and you limited your search area. And at the same time, you were able to determine that 6 does not exist in this array, right? There are more advantages of sorting the array. You know the least element is 0 and the maximum element is 99, right? So, what happens if I want to search for a number, let's say 30? Now, 30 is a big number. So, another advantage that you can take is instead of starting from the first position, you can start from the back, right? Since your array is sorted, you will go from the back. You will see 99 is not equal to 30. You go ahead. You see 30 is equal to 30. Cool. And you found this element. What did you just do? You once again were able to stop your search at this point and you were able to save all of this search space. And hence, once again, you saved time. So, this is how a sorted linear search works. If this concept is now clear to you, let us try to do a dry run of the code and see how all of this works. On the left side of your screen, you have the actual code to implement a sorted linear search. And on the right, I have a sorted array that we will pass into this function as a parameter. Similarly, we will also pass in a number to search as a parameter to this function. Let's say I want to search for the number 9 in the array, right? So, how does this code work? At the beginning, I have a flag that is found. Right now, it is set to false because I am assuming that this number does not exist in the array. Then I start a for loop. This for loop starts from the first element 0 and it goes all the way up till the length of the array. What I do next is I try to compare the element at position I to the number I want to search. So I would be comparing if 1 is equal to 9, if 3 is equal to 9, and so on, right? Since we are doing an array based indexing, so my indices would look like. Now, what happens when the value of I changes to 3? I would see if ARR at I equals to 9. This time ARR at I equals to number 9, and hence this condition becomes true. So what I just do is I change this found flag to true. That simply means that I was able to find this element. Once this loop ends, I will break out and simply return that I was able to find this element and its value is true. Similarly, what happens in a case if I'm trying to search for the number 6 in the array? I will again iterate over this for loop. I will try to compare the element at each position, but at the same time, what I am also doing is I am also comparing if ARR at I is greater than the number to search. So as soon as I reach the position 3, I know that 9 is greater than 6. That means my number will not exist after this, right? So what I can do is I can simply break out of this loop and then return whatever the value of found is. In this case, the value of this flag is set to false. That means we were not able to find the element 6. Note that the time complexity of this algorithm is order of n. That is because we are iterating over all of the elements at least once. And the space complexity of this algorithm is order of 1. That is because we are not consuming any extra space. I hope I was able to give you a good idea about the linear search algorithm and how do you use it. I know that this is a very basic technique, but hey, we all need some starting point, right? If you establish a strong foundation, it becomes very easy to learn new and advanced concepts. In my future video, I will be discussing the binary search technique. As per my final thoughts, I want you to think what other methods can you come up with to improve this linear search algorithm and how do you plan to use it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and I would love to discuss all of them with you. You would be glad to know that a text-based explanation to all the content of this channel is available on the website studyalgorithms.com. So, if you want to read more, I am including a link in the description below. The code and the test cases to implement a linear search algorithm can also be found in my GitHub profile, the links to which can be found in the description below. Once again, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This motivates me to make more and more such videos where I can simplify programming concepts for you. Until then, see ya.